Hi, this is Brian Kim. I want to share with you this case of a Toric IOL placement, but when it went in upside down. And so I want to show you an easy way to reposition this lens without having to explant it. So the cataract surgery has been performed, and you can see my Toric marks. I'm injecting the Toric lens into the bag. And unfortunately, at this point, I didn't realize that the lens went in upside down. So as you know, normally the lens should be a backward S configuration, but this is actually the S configuration. So the lens is upside down. And so this is when I realize it's not positioned correctly. And so this is what I do. This is a pretty deep chamber, long axial length. So I basically tilt the edge of the optic and I just position it with infusion on. Remember, you have to have infusion on when you do this. And I gently tilt it and rotate it 180 degrees vertically. You can see the proximal haptic is in good position. You can see here that the distal haptic was tilted funny, and part of the technique is to make sure that both haptics are in the proper orientation within the bag, removing the viscoelastic from the anterior chamber, and then using a second instrument to help me position the toricity. So again, when the lens goes in upside down, best thing to do is to recognize it early. Before the lens opens up, you can quickly rotate it into proper orientation. But in my case, the lens opened up all the way. But because the bag was pretty deep, the chamber was pretty deep, I was able to use a one-handed technique, just using the eye in a handpiece, turning on infusion. And with the infusion being on, that's very important because when the infusion is on, the posterior capsule is pushed way back. I would hesitate to do that maneuver just with viscoelastic, because when you do that with viscoelastic, you can't control how ballooned that posterior capsule is. But with infusion, 50 IOP, that's pretty good infusion pressure. You're going to push that posterior capsule way back. I'm able to just, again, get underneath the lens. And you know my techniques, I always go underneath the lens with the eye in a handpiece anyways. So I'm very comfortable doing that. So again, I was able to flip it over very easily without any problems, without any trauma, and then position this toric lens in the proper axis. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I thank you for your attention.